What is up, Savages? Thanks for tuning in to the random coin mining show that we used to do every weeknight, but we've kind of pulled back a little bit and only cover projects that I'm kind of interested in. So kind of changed it up a little bit. Also, thanks to everyone for subscribing, liking, and sharing. You guys are awesome. Like I was saying, we used to do a completely random coin each weeknight, but that got a little crazy because we had a list of 100 plus, and we would end up on some real, yeah, it was not good. Some bad projects. I changed it somewhat recently, to Twitter polls where I pick some interesting projects or things that maybe I think that some of my subscribers or Twitter followers might be interested in, and I throw up a poll over there on Twitter, so make sure you follow me over there, because that's how I interact with my followers and subscribers. So over here I will do a poll, and you get to interact and kind of decide what we mine that night if we're going to do a random coin mining show. So it's kind of neat. That little back and forth goes pretty well. So because of that, though, it kind of ends up not being every weeknight because there aren't that many projects that I like. So it's one of those things where if I feel kind of froggy, I might throw one out there and see what's out there and see if anybody's interested. So before we get started, let's take a quick look at the market. I always like to throw up Coin 360 here. Looking all right. We were up over like 9,300 for BTC earlier today. Everything's kind of, all the other stuff is this is considered sideways in crypto for sure. Look at COINMARKETCAP, and we've got a $288 billion market cap, and volume is kind of low. I think 52 billion. That seems pretty low. BTC dominance is hanging around that 56-57% mark, and yeah, again, kind of sideways for today anyway. Pretty good weekend though, getting over 9,000 and staying there this time, so that was nice. Let's take a quick look at Beam. Beam's been on a tear, really good, awesome, and Grin has also. Privacy coins, doing well. Aeon down a little bit. It actually fell in the rankings too, I think. I want to say that they broke 100 recently. So do another privacy coin swap, another one that we follow on this channel. 6% isn't that much in crypto. Zcash hanging around 8 cents. Conceal down a little bit. 15-16 cents all the time, it seems like. Raven 6 cents. All these projects that I like are 6 cents. That's crazy. Veil's at 11 cents. Loki's looking like 11 cents. They've gone down a little bit. I want to say that they were up in the 14-cent range recently. Nimic up a tad. EGEM. EGEM's up nice. I like that. They actually were just added to what to mine, or at least activated so that they show up. So there you go. Pretty profitable. I like to see that. One of the projects that we kind of follow on this channel. And BITC, Bitcash. Oh, Bitcash is doing well today too. Right on. Alright, so I kind of showed you what to mine, and the trick here is, if you haven't seen it, I tweeted about it, but basically if EtherGem doesn't show up, usually what happens is they'll add exchanges to here, but they don't get added automatically for you. So you have to actually add them to what to mine. So if you click down here, then what you would see if one wasn't enabled, like let's say that this is the way it was just the other day, it looked just like this. So you click right here, click on GraviX, click right here, click on Stacks. See how they're bold? They're not grayed out because you haven't selected them. So once you get those two on there, and I can show you this real quick, without them, things like EtherGem don't show up because it's only on those two exchanges. So if you click down here, add GraviX, calculate, now you'll have EtherGem. So just keep that in mind. If things aren't looking right, make sure all the exchanges that you want to analyze are actually out there. So, as I was saying, I ran a Twitter poll in the last 24 hours between Beam, Pirate Chain, and let's see here, Beam, Pirate Chain, and Aeon, and the Beam won by quite a bit. It wasn't too bad, but Pirate Chain came in a pretty close second, so I might do another show on them maybe because it was so close. So that's what we're going to look at tonight. And just a reminder, this content is not sponsored in any way whatsoever. I'm not receiving any compensation, and I'm only covering stuff that I'm actually interested in, and that's what this show is about. I mean, it's cool to have, the interaction with Twitter followers and things like that. But for the most part, if I'm not interested in it, I'm not going to cover it. In other words, I'm not going to get paid in some way to cover something. That's just not, it's not part of my business plan, I guess you could say. Since Beam won the poll, let's go ahead and get into it. I know I started a little bit early today because I knew that I wanted to cover a little bit of information about Beam. So that's why I got started at 9:15 instead of 9:30. So what exactly is Beam? Well, Beam is a Mimblewimble protocol implementation of a secure, private, by default, auditable cryptocurrency that uses a modified version of the computationally memory hard Equihash algorithm for proof of work mining. And that's a mouthful right there. The Equihash parameters for the Beam implementation are 150/5, which refers to the algorithms. Now, most of this is going to refer to mining type information, but that refers to the algorithm's time and memory requirements. It's something that can be modified in Equihash. That's why you see so many different Equihash algorithms, because if you modify it a little, you can modify the timing and memory requirements, and that's how you end up with so many. Equihash uses a lot of memory it doesn't have to be fast memory, it just uses a lot of memory to compute the generalized birthday problem that is used to provide proof of the computation. But the verification of it is instant. So it's not necessarily about overclocking your memory and making it super fast. It's just that it needs a lot of memory to operate. And since it's a Mimblewimble transaction protocol, or since it's using the Mimblewimble transaction protocol, it's optimized for privacy. No addresses or other private information are stored on the blockchain. And this incredibly small blockchain size allows for really superior performance and scalability using the cut-through technology that is included in Mimblewimble protocol. Beam basically only uses about 10% of the size of transactions on the blockchain whenever it's compared to others. So if you think about it, it's basically 10% of all the other ones, right? So all the other protocols that are out there, this uses about 10% of the resources, the size and transactions and things. So yeah, the roadmap is coming up here. That's good. I'm going to stop it right there in just a second. It also has an opt-in auditability. So one of the things that if you're familiar with privacy coins at all, and if you follow them at all, and if you follow this channel or me at all, you also know that I've said it a bunch of times, and it's pretty much common knowledge that privacy coins are going to have a little bit of a problem getting adopted, right, by institutions, by overall, because they are inherently private. And what I'm getting at is you can't use a completely private documentation of transactions in a business, right? So what Beam did is they enabled a way to have auditability. So you can, the owner of the tokens or of that address can give other people the ability to look at their blockchain transactions, right? So it's auditable. So that allows it to fit into a corporate structure where the transactions have to be accounted for. So you could let your accountant look at your transactions without letting everybody else see your transactions. And that's the problem with Bitcoin. Everybody in the beginning thought that it was super anonymous, but with very rudimentary tools, you can figure out, oftentimes you can analyze the blockchain and figure out who people are based on who they're sending to. Plus there's like all these leaks and things like that. Like, for example, someone could easily tie a BTC address to me. If I post, and I post, my addresses, like donation addresses sometimes, and those can, go through different methods to track that down, and it probably could get all the way to me. So just keep that in mind. My point being is that privacy, if you have a completely private coin that zero transactions and there's no way to ever view it, then that's going to be hard to be adopted by a business. That's long story short right there. They also have, and this one is kind of odd because everybody knows I'm a big fan of Ravencoin, but this sounds a little bit like what Ravencoin is doing. I couldn't find much on their website about it, on Beam's website about the assets, but it says that they also have confidential assets. And these could be, it gives examples like real estate tokens, corporate debts, and even currencies. So that sounds a lot like Ravencoin and what they're trying to do. And all of that can be created and exchanged via the Beam confidential transactions mechanisms. So it's like hidden assets on the network. Like I said, I could not find a lot on their website about it. I think it might be something that is not implemented yet. I didn't see it on the roadmap, unless I'm just overlooking it, but I don't see it on there at all. So I don't know. I didn't look into it a whole lot, but it seems like it's a little bit missing, missing some information on there. Maybe it's just something that they're looking at doing in the future. I don't know. But they also support online and offline transactions, atomic swaps, hardware wallet integration, and they have a consistent UI wallet app and for mobile and desktop. Their desktop wallet looks just like their mobile wallet. It's super cool. And this is their roadmap. And like I was saying, I didn't see, I think that this little dot right here and this little arrow means that that's where they're actually at right now. And maybe this means complete. So I don't know if all this is complete. But I do know that one thing that they were looking at doing is a proof of work algorithm change. Although, I follow it pretty closely and I haven't heard anything about that. So I don't know what the status of that is. It says June of 2019, so I don't know. But there is, much like Grin, there's a possibility that in the future they will become kind of ASIC friendly. But they're looking to not do that for quite some time. So that is pretty much in a nutshell what they are about. Let me see if there's anything else on here that I kind of want to mention. I think there was, not news, let's go to features, product features. Yeah, it talks about, these are the main features of Beam. You got confidentiality, all transactions are private, privacy by default, basically, versatility, atomic swapping and things like that. Opt-in auditability, like I was saying earlier, to comply with relevant regulations, a wallet can be configured to attach digitally signed documentation like invoices or contracts. Maybe that's what they're talking about with their assets. So that would already be enabled then. to all transactions in a cryptographically unforgeable way. So in turn, some specific auditors can be granted permission to inspect the complete list of transactions along with all the attached documents. So that's kind of neat, and it sounds perfect for a business case, right? If you have documentation that's on the blockchain and you also have transactions that you need to get audited, that's kind of neat. So here it talks about confidential assets as well. It says multiple asset types. I kind of mentioned that earlier. So I don't know how that, maybe that doesn't really mean this part right here where it's talking about the different assets. So this must be something totally different. Yeah, well, it would be if it's currencies and stuff too. So yeah, I don't know. I'd have to do a little bit more research on that. It talks about scalability here, sustainability, usability, kind of the things I already covered. And it does use Equihash 150_5 or /5, and we'll talk about that more as we get into the mining part of it. So that's basically a quick overview of Beam. I think I did videos on how to withdraw funds from Sparkpool to the Beam wallet or something like that earlier in the year whenever they first came out. And I don't think I ever did a how to mine Beam video. I might have, but I didn't see it on my channel. And I forget all the videos I make. So with it being live and not planned all the time, you know, it's sometimes hard for me to remember what's out there. But so let's get into the mining aspects of Beam. So as far as system requirements goes, you have to have, let me check the chat real quick, see what you guys are up to. What's up, Bit9K? What's up, Shuby? Meatloaf? Hope you guys are doing well. Thanks for tuning in and all that stuff. So for system requirements, you have to have GPUs that have at least 4 gigabytes of memory. Pretty common nowadays. I mean, there are some 3 gig out there still, but the blocks, they are 1 megabyte blocks, and the block time is 60 seconds, or about 60 seconds. And each block is going to contain about 1,000 transactions. And the difficulty is reassessed each block and adjust to maintain a 60-second block. So it's a adjustable difficulty. As far as rewards go, there's 80 coins per block in the first year. That's the first year, 80. So right now, because it came out in January, right? Wasn't it? Yeah, I think it was January. I forgot the actual date. Might have been after that, actually. Or was it before? I don't know. We're gonna have to look that up. I didn't document like when they actually were released. Anyway, so 80. We're still in the 80 coins per block for the first year. They're definitely not a year old. In years 2 through 5, it'll drop down to 40 blocks or 40 coins per block, and then year 6 it'll be 25 coins. Then a halving will occur every 4 years after that until year 129. Then after year 133, the Beam emission will stop altogether. Now those rewards, if you earn those rewards through mining, obviously, then you can't spend them for 4 hours. So they have a 4-hour maturity window there. So basically just keep that in mind. If you've got them, you can't really do anything with them for 4 hours if you've earned them through mining. Now, while there was no pre-mine or ICO, the one thing that is kind of off of the beaten path as far as like projects that I'm personally interested in is they do have a treasury that lasts for the first 5 years. They did limit it. At least it's not like this ongoing open-ended thing. And it's funded like this. So the first year, for every block, remember the first year there's 80 coins per block. Well, 20 of those go to the treasury. So 20 beams per block. So was that 40%? No, that's not 40%. I don't know. I'm bad at math. So years 2 through 5, remember 2 through 5 it was 40 coins per block. And on years 2 through 5, it's 10 beams goes to the treasury per block. And then, so probably your question is, what's the treasury used for? The treasury is used to repay Beam investors as development incentives and to support the Beam Foundation, for development and things like that. Distribution of the treasury coins is performed quarterly. So I suppose that there's a wallet that all this goes into, and then they distribute them every quarter. And and like I said earlier, Beam plans to stay ASIC resistant for at least 18 months and by hard forking if necessary, but I think it's kind of like in the plan. So you saw on their roadmap that they're going to fork, or the plan was to fork this month. Although I have not heard, but I haven't been following them that close, so I might have just missed it, but I have not heard anything about it. So that is pretty much overview of mining and whatnot. Let me fire up my Excel here. I meant to do this before, but I kind of ran out of time preparing and stuff. All right, so we can use let's make sure everybody's still in here. Everything's good to go. Sorry, got to get a little drink. All right, so we'll use the spreadsheet just to walk through the process because this is a how to mine video, so I do want to kind of start there. So we'll just go through the process like we used to. And then what I would do, you're probably thinking, well, yes, Shuby, a little bit, just a little bit. You're probably wondering, well, how did I know all that? Well, what I would do, I kind of did that off the top of my head, but what I would typically do is go straight to miningpoolstats.stream and then look for Beam. Click on it like that, and then right here it has the algorithm and the ticker. So you could just instantly, pretty much instantly, as long as you know the ticker. If you don't even know the ticker or the name of the coin, then why are you trying to mine it, right? So you got to at least know that information. So you can see that the algorithm is Equihash 150.5 or underscore. In this case, they put a comma. There's lots of different ways for it to be shown. So it's right there on miningpoolstats.stream. And so that's what we added to the info there. And then the pool and the port, in this case, I want to use, I know usually you would go ahead and you would pick in this case, Spark Pool or B Pool or something like that because they have lower hash rate. Let's look at the last block found. See, in this case, I would hop on pool.btc.com probably, but I want to use Leaf Pool because I want to show you the interface and stuff like that. It's kind of cool. It's a very well designed website and stuff like that, so I kind of wanted to highlight that as well. So what we'll do is we will click on Leaf Pool. I think it won't, yeah. Now I already have my worker in here and stuff, so that's why it's already showing up. But let's come back to that. What we'll do is, so let's just go here and go to Getting Started to get the address because that's what we came here for. All right, put that in here. We've got to get a port as well. And in this case, GPU mining 3333, 3333, but mining rigs, I love this. Mining rigs is 4444, so we'll use that one. And then if you had a big ass mining rig, you would use 5555. So that's cool. All right. Now we kind of already went through this, but I am going to blast right through it again real quick. So we're going to go back to CoinMarketCap just to collect some information. This stuff is not needed for mining, but it's just good to have and good to put in your brain for what the project is that you're actually mining. Because it's good to know, you know, the market cap and current price and all that stuff. It's good information to have, right, for tracking purposes. And to know where you started, where you're going, you know, hopefully going to end up, and all that. So yeah, that's what we'll do. Go over here. I think $1.30. So it's been on a heck of a run. So we'll go $1.30. Let me fix that real quick. I've been meaning to fix that forever. All right, and then market cap volume. I was surprised that Beam and Grin have such high market caps too. I mined them in the very beginning, and I should have never stopped. So volume. Market cap and volume right here. Make it look something like that. That kind of messed up the format, but that, you get the point. That's 3 million, right? 30 million, I mean. All right, and then the rank is 165 currently. Probably jumped up quite a bit. I don't know where they started at. And then if we go to what to mine, go to coins, and then Beam. All right, so we'll just document this because we'll come back here once we start mining and figure out what kind of profit we're looking at. Bitcoin talk thread. Let's get in here and search for Beam. And actually, you know what? You can just go, I forgot about this. If you just go back to mining pool stats, this is kind of cool because they've got all these links over here already for you. So it's pretty handy, you know, to just start here. Because, you know, look, whenever we were doing the really random coins, we ended up, a lot of times we would land on a coin that we couldn't even mine because there was no pool and you couldn't solo mine it. And there was just no way to mine it. It was like completely dead. And so I kind of fixed that problem by pre-recording the randomization part way back in the day. But point being made is just if you're looking at a project, go to miningpoolstats.stream, not sponsored in any way. They just do a great job of, hey, here's, you know, all the pools for the coin that you're looking for. They don't have everything on here. But I do believe, well, I say they don't have everything. They probably have everything that's actually on the network or on, you know, actually has a working network. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot in here. So I'm pretty sure that anything that's currently mined is on here. So, or has the possibility of being mined. All right, so let's go to the Bitcoin talk announcement. So all I did was clicked on it. And then right here, this looks like the official one. Yeah, October 17th, 2018 was the announcement, but it wasn't released until sometime in January, I think. All right. Then you can also get to the website from, I used to show you guys this too, if you go to the Bitcoin Talk thread for whatever project you're looking at, make sure you check to see, go to the last page, especially if it's something, not popular, right? If you're trying to spec mine or something like that, go to the last page and see if there's anything current, right? So, yeah. So this is just one of the things you kind of want to keep in mind. And if you're spec mining and you're looking at things, you also want to look over here to see who is interested in the project. I used to mention this all the time, like, here's a legendary member, been around for a while, and they're talking about being an awesome project. Okay, great. But you just keep going like that, and it'll kind of give you an idea. I'm not saying it's the thing that you should look at. It's never like that. There's a lot of things. But if you are looking at a project, I encourage you to take that into consideration, like what is being said on the Bitcoin Talk thread about them and by who, right? If it's somebody that is, has no status or whatever, or a newbie like me, then, maybe take it with a grain of salt. But if it's somebody legendary or, hero member or something like that, and they're, whatever they're saying, I would put a little bit more, the word escapes me, but I would trust them a little bit more, put it that way. All right, so let's go over here. What was I doing? Documentation, that's right. All right, so the website, we already looked at the website a little bit, but let's grab the URL, super easy. Beam.mw for Mimblewimble, the protocol that it uses. And then they do have help on their website. I don't always get to add this because not all of them have help. I think it's under documentation, mining Beam right here. I don't know how up to date this is, but it does go into a lot of things that I already talked about. It's probably pretty up to date. But I want to say that they don't mention what miners to use on here. It's kind of somewhat generic, and I think it focuses more on Linux anyway. But we'll throw it on here just in case. All right, so the wallet method, we'll use the desktop Qt wallet. Looks like this. And it's just like any, it's been updating for a while. I might have a problem that I'll have to troubleshoot later, but it's just like any other wallet. You download it from their website. So you would definitely don't get a wallet from anywhere else other than official channels. So I would go link to it off of their website. Let me go back one here and see if I can find the wallets. So I can show you that. I think it's under downloads, product downloads, and right here. So this should take you out to their GitHub. They got Mac, Windows, and Linux. So it didn't take me to a GitHub, but this is hanging off of their website. So I would trust this pretty well. I think you can still go to GitHub to get their wallets too. Yeah, so this would be the one I would get, right, for Windows. All right, so that's probably the wallet that I have. All right, so you can come over there to get the wallet as well. Alright, so we're using desktop wallet, and then receiving address is going to be that actually finally came through. I sent 5 Beam to my wallet Actually, it probably hasn't been confirmed yet. Let's see here. Mining wallet. Nope. This is kind of weird, but you see how it's got the dots in between there, and this isn't a full address, but whenever you right click on it and choose copy in this wallet, it'll actually copy the whole thing, so don't get confused by that. Some wallets, if you just click it, like left click it, then it'll copy it. It depends on the wallet, but in this case you have to right click copy. I should be able to right click paste and get the whole thing in there. Yeah, see? So that's good. And then for miners, this is an Equihash. So typically you're going to use NVIDIA GPUs. They just do a little bit better job with, hey, what's up, Bitcoin Jake? With Equihash algorithms, a little bit better. Although these new miners, as I was looking tonight, just messing around, they've gotten pretty good. I think that they've modified some things and gotten AMD. It's pretty competitive, so it's not like it used to be where it was just drastically different. This is actually not that bad. So you can use, for the miners, you can use lolMiner. There's quite a few. lolMiner is one of them. I want to say you can use Gminer, and there's several. We'll look at all of them. I mean, I'll show you which ones you can use. And then for NVIDIA, we can use Gminer for sure. I think you can use Bminer. And there's several other ones. I think they have their own miner. It's like an OpenCL. I can't remember the name of that one either. But we can look at all of that. Actually, it's on their website. We can go there right now and just check it out. I want to say it's on here somewhere. Maybe not. I don't remember if it was listed somewhere. And you can mine from within the wallet too. I forgot about that. And you just have to turn the... Let me make sure I'm not going to show you all anything here. Yeah, I don't think this, I don't know, maybe I just have an old wallet. I haven't updated it in a while, so that's probably why it's hung on 62%. And that version number that I just saw was not matching what we saw on the website, so I probably need to do that. I haven't done that in a while. Anyway, I'll mess with that later. All right, so let's start with simple mining. I don't know, do y'all know if Brandon's going live tonight? Maybe not. He did a live stream today, huh? This morning. He's still moving. All right, we'll check back there in a minute, and if he's not, then we'll just keep going. All right, so let's check it out for simple mining first, and then we'll head over to HiveOS. And if you don't know how to install or get simple mining up and running, there's videos on my channel for that. There's also videos on my channel for HiveOS, I think. I've done it so many times, I don't know if I think there's a video on it. Just go to my channel and search for HiveOS, and I think there's a how to install HiveOS on an SSD. I think for simple mining, I've got it on or USB, and for simple mining, I believe I've got an SSD video and a USB video. So anyway, this is simple mining if you're not familiar with it. And basically, you would start if you want to get, once you get the rig visible in simple mining, and all that's in that video, that other video about installing simple mining. Then once the rig's visible, you can come in here, and in this case, I've got two 8 GPU RX 580 rigs. so they're AMD RX 580s. The Mustafar rig is the ASRock Phantom Gaming X RX 580s, and the Dagobah rig is Gigabyte Aorus RX 580s. So I usually use the Mustafar rig because the Dagobah rig, whenever I restart it, sometimes not all the GPUs are registered. So I typically, for this show, I'll use Mustafar. So once the rig's visible, you'll come in here and go group config. They've done a lot of updates on Simple Mining. This is so cool to have like a search bar and stuff like that. So I think you can just type in Beam here, and it's going to show you, yeah, Beam CUDA Miner, that's what it was, and Beam OpenCL. So you can come in here and you can see that RX is for AMD rigs, NV is for NVIDIA rigs. So you can see which miners will work for your hardware, right? So in this case, we're on an RX rig, and it looks like you could use Beam OpenCL, Bminer, Gminer, lolMiner, and that's it. So now I've already done this because I've actually got that one rig. Mustafar is actually on Beam right now, just playing around with it. I think, let me see what I'm actually using over there. So it's mining with Gminer. So let me show you the current hash rate and whatnot. I guess that this Gminer doesn't have it, they don't have it enabled in the console here. So it says see console, so you have to click on the little, you have to poke the eye there so that you can actually see it. But if you come down here, it looks like the total speed is about 90 sols, and that's with 8 GPUs, so that's getting 11 per GPU basically, right? So that's not terrible for an AMD GPU. It's just an RX 580. And if you look at the, oh, you know what I needed to do? Because I didn't do this earlier. I don't think I have documented. Let's see here. Hang on just a second, guys. Yeah, I didn't document it. So let's look at overclock settings real quick, because right now I'm using Kryptonite. This is for conceal, because this rig is normally mining conceal. So I just left it on that group OC there. And what I would do if I was looking for a starting place for overclock settings, I would go to I think it's COIN to mine today. COIN2mine.today, and then over here on the left it says overclocks. So I would click that, and this is Overcooked Panda's Overclock Database. I thought it was actually dark. I don't know why it's showing up light like that. Anyway, so you click the GPU model, and this just gets you, I believe the way that this works is it's actually pulled from HiveOS, and it's like a database, and it looks at how many miners are mining a specific coin using a specific or an algorithm using a specific GPU, and then it lists like popularity of certain overclock settings. I think that's the way it works. I don't know, I can be like totally off, but I think that's the way it works. So in this case, we're going to go Radeon RX 580, and the algorithm is going to be Equihash 150/5 for Beam, and then we're going to click search. Yeah, so you can see right here for that GPU, the most popular, it says 29, basically 29 uses of it. I think I don't know what this means. I think that's right. So it's got a core clock of 1200. Let me write that over here real quick. and then a memory of 2240, and then power will be whatever based on your GPU. And then what I like to do is I kind of look down through here at some of the other ones to see if it's in the ballpark. And this one seems really high on the memory. And remember, the Equihash algorithms aren't necessarily built for speed, right? It needs a lot of memory, but it doesn't have to be overclocked and you know, crazy or anything like that. So I'm curious as to how that's going to work. But we're going to try it. So if you want to create a group OC, because I don't have one for this algorithm. See, if you look down through here, I don't have 155. So I'll go add a new group OC. We'll name it AMD. I'm just following my other naming convention here. 150 _ 5 OC. Sounds good to me. I said 1200 core, 2240 memory. Throw a 875 on there. No aggressive over undervolt, and power stage 4. I think that's kind of what I usually do as a default starting point. And we will turn on RX Boost. So that is pretty much how I would set it up initially, just to see how things were going to work. So add that. So now that's down here. This is under AMD, so that's good. So go to rig list, put a check mark next to the rig name, rig actions, group OC link. Choose that one that we just created, and then reload. All right, so remember we were getting 91.7 at 649 watts. So let me document that real quick. 91.7, 649. Yeah, I'd like to see what it was actually at the wall, because I don't think that's at the wall. If it is, I would be super surprised, because that's really low for that rig. Check out the chat, see what you guys are doing. Oh, that's right, Shubi, you were saying you got a couple of ETC to donate. That's cool. I need to put that in there in the tweet and stuff like that. I'll try to remember that. I'm a long ways off, man. I mean, 173 subs for me is a lot, because I only get maybe 2 a day. You know, is basically my cycle. So. Yeah, to do that in a couple weeks, I have a goal. I want to get it done before a certain time, and it's about 2 weeks away. So that's why I was looking at doing a possible giveaway if I can hit 1,000 within that 2 weeks. All right, so that change actually looks like it lowered the. I'm telling you, this rig is. Or these rigs seem to work the best with that one, with those. It's almost like I've found the clock memory and core clock settings that work best on every algorithm. It's pretty much everything that I throw these rigs at. If I change that out, those clocks, it'll be less than what I expected, you know. So I'm not, you know. I don't sit here and fine tune everything. I don't spend a whole lot of time. Once it gets in the right area, I don't fine tune, you know, because I think that fine tuning and pushing it too hard and then it crashes, 3 or 4 times a day or whatever, you lose out on a lot of time. So I'm more of the mindset of get it set up, get it efficient. As long as you're in that range of what's expected for your solutions per second and all that stuff, let that thing eat, man. Just let it eat. Just leave it alone, right? Because I think tinkering with it all the time is not necessarily a good thing. I've just had experiences where I made one small change and then now the rig was offline all day while I was at work. I've got some remote stuff, but I can't always access it. So, it's just one of those things. Plus, this thing is using a lot more power too, it looks like. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's go and look at the souls here real quick. So it looks like it's at 84.1. I know it just started, and I know you got to give it time to breathe and all that stuff, but that's a pretty significant decrease, like really quickly there. So I'm going to put it back on the other original OC settings that I use for Kryptonite Conceal. And that's going to reboot the rig. And then we'll go over here. I'll show you what those settings are. So it's right here. 11. It just seems like these two rigs that I have just work really well with 1175 on the core, 2175 on the memory, 875 undervolting, and actually this is aggressive undervolting is on, and then power stage 3. Maybe I should have been on 3. Maybe that, because I did put it on 4. I don't know. The power stage depends on, it's almost like, I haven't found it documented anywhere, but it works with what you are setting for your core and your memory. I know there's probably documentation on that, but I haven't found it yet, I guess you could say. So maybe I should have been on 3 with those specific settings, but yeah, all right. So let's go and check out. It doesn't look like it's back up and running just yet. And I didn't even show you guys I didn't even show you what miner I'm using or anything, did I? So the miner config looks like this. I'm using Gminer, and this is what it looks like. Using Gminer and leaf pool. Some of the Gminer Equihash algorithms, some of them require the personalization string, but it looks like this one does not. Like, for example, if you have, all right, Shubi, see you later, man. If you're mining Aeon, for example, you have to put in the personalization string. It's Aeon 0 P or capital P, lowercase o, capital W. So Aeon 0 proof of work. And that personalization string has to be in there, but it doesn't need it for Beam, I guess. So and you can see that right here, personalization argument. And it actually shows you up here in the example, talks about it right here too. I guess you don't need it for Beam. So let's go and check out what we are looking at here. Still firing up. Bit9K, you think that the Savage News Saturdays is going to be good? You think that's good? That's a good idea? Is it because of the time? Like if I do it at 3 p.m. or whatever? Yeah, it seemed pretty good. Didn't we have like, how many people were in there? It seemed like there was a lot. I don't know. A lot for me, anyway. 20-minute maximum, okay. Yeah, it would probably be longer than that. I'm a little long-winded sometimes. Like tonight. It's already an hour, almost an hour. I'm not too worried about the... I like having a small group of closer people than having just a whole bunch of random people. I don't know. I kind of like it the way it is. But I do want to get over 1,000 so that I can do other things like stream from my phone and stuff like that. There's getting over 1,000 subs, it actually enables a lot of things for you. So I do want to do that. It looks like it's trying to work, but the power is not very much. It says 701 there, but it might actually be hung up because I mean normally it would go off. Like the power on the actual outlet is only showing 430 watts. So this doesn't look right. It's not matching even close. Nowhere close. And it doesn't seem to be doing anything down here either. I'm gonna go power cycle it. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, it was acting like it didn't sound like it was running. Like it didn't sound like it was doing anything. It sounded like it was hung up. I don't have a monitor on it, so I don't know for sure. I could have got into. I mean, it was showing us the console, so it's probably still the same thing. Yeah, see, it's exactly the same, but I turned the rig off, so yeah, it's just hung up. As far as simple mining is concerned. So you know we're using leaf pool to mine to. You can see that in the you could see that in the miner options over here. So that's what we're using to mine to. And if you take your address that you're mining to, like this right here, copy it, and then go to the pool, leafpool.com in this case. Let's see if we can just start at the very beginning. Yeah, see, it already knows, it already has my address in there. See if I can do a refresh. Yeah, it puts it right back in there for me. So anyway, you would just paste in your address right here and then hit search, and then it'll give you basically a dashboard for what's going on with your rig, or with whatever rigs you're actually mining to it from. So you can see that I have one rig that's still up, and that's the rig right here that you're seeing on the screen, the monitor down here below me. And that's that monitor over there on that rig. And that's an NVIDIA rig, so that's what SavageMine Kessel NVIDIA is. So it's still up and running. And you can see the others are offline. I only have one other rig that was attached to this pool though, because whenever I first attached it, I didn't have the rig name variable in there. So I didn't have this right here. Where is it? Right here. I didn't put that variable in there. So it was just, there was no dot anything there. And so it attached as no name. So whenever you put that on there like that, then it starts showing up as the actual name of the rig in Simple Mining. Let's go back over to rig list here, see if this thing is doing anything. Okay, it is, and it's getting shares accepted. So see, it was at 84, right? And then now it's at 90. And this is with basically, it's different overclock settings, but these overclock settings are for Kryptonite Conceal, which is weird, but I mean, they're always pretty close anyway, but I just wanted to kind of point that out. Then the other option would be to use a different miner, right? We have lolMiner as well, and they're up to version 0.8.1, and I believe that this 0.8.1 only does Beam, and that's it. I don't think that you can use it for any other algos, even though it says you can, but I think that it's only for Beam. So let's go ahead and check that one out. So what I'll do is just go to rig list, check mark next to the rig, rig actions, group config, and then choose that. I want to say it was, what's the name of it? Must be that one. Let's go check. Forgot the name of it. Yeah. So let's go assign the rig to that. And then that'll give us lolMiner. So we'll do a quick comparison of, hey, later bit9k, do a quick comparison of hash rates for our sols per sec. Sol rate. I gotta remember if I'm underneath of my cameras here, let me know, because say something like, hey, you're hiding stuff. Because sometimes I'll be over here doing, I don't think I've done it tonight though, so I think I'm good. I don't remember doing anything over there on the right hand side. Sometimes I forget that it's covered up by the cameras. So, all right. I saw a accepted share here. I just want to see souls per second here. So I'm getting 12, 11, basically 12 on each, so it's 94. So with lolMiner, it looks like it's a little bit better, just a little bit better than Gminer. So if I was to recommend a miner, I would say use lolMiner for mining Beam on AMD. It looks like it's just a tad bit better. Plus, they have it to where it shows up in Simple Mining Console, so you don't have to go, so you don't have to go into the console to actually see the hash rate or the souls per second. So it's right here. Instead of it saying see console, it's actually the souls per second. So that's nice. All right, I do want to show you guys this little thing here too as well, because this tripped me up for a minute. Sometimes you might be in the habit of let's see, I want to say I saw it on here somewhere. All right, so if you were looking at the example here, you might say, okay, I can just type in coin and then Beam like that. Everything else is, I'm going to leave the same. Save it. That's going to kick off a reload of the miner. Now all I did was I took away the capitalization of Beam in the miner options. And I just want to show you this symptom. So if you see it in the future, or if you hear someone else having it, then you'll know what to tell them or what to check. Maybe. I think it takes like a minute. Yeah, I think that's right. I think after 1 minute it comes up. All right, so it says no working connection for 60 seconds, authorization or work missing. So this is a symptom you get if you don't capitalize Beam. I know it sounds crazy, but it is true. Now we'll show you. And this might be specifically for lolMiner. I don't know. I haven't done, like, I'm not going to test it or anything like that, but I just realized it. So all I did was I capitalized Beam. Save that. And it'll kick it back off. Reload the miner. I don't think it takes a minute at this point. All right, so now you see that it's got accepted shares and everything's good. So that's just one of those kind of got you kind of things that might happen as you're setting this up. All right, so let's head over to, I mean, we've done a lot with simple mining so far. So let's head over to, actually, let me get this rig back on CCX. That, got the right OC, okay, great. And then we'll get over to HiveOS. I'm already mining Beam on the NVIDIA rig, but we can go through the steps of what it takes since we have the documentation and all that stuff. So we'll just do like a new flight sheet and everything. Like I was saying earlier, I think I have a video on installing and setting up HiveOS. If I don't, Seth Estrada does, Mind Your Biz. He's got some videos. He's got a lot of videos on HiveOS, so check out his channel. I don't know who else actually has HiveOS videos, but you know, if just go to YouTube and type in install HiveOS, I'm sure you'll be good. If you go to the website, they have some pretty good tutorials and stuff like that on there as well, if I remember right. So, all right. So once you get HiveOS up and running, mine are running off of USB. They seem to run pretty well. I think that there's some benefit if you ran them from an SSD. Did I say USB? Yeah, mine are running from a USB, but they probably are a little bit more reliable if you have them on an SSD. Same thing for simple mining, but they do okay from a USB. So once you're up and running with HiveOS and you have your rig visible inside of HiveOS, then you would click on, and you wanted to mine Beam, then you would, and this is for an NVIDIA rig, and this is the rig that we're looking at right here, hardware wise. It's just a little 6 GPU rig, two 1070s, two 1070 Ti's, and two 1080s. It does have a SSD, but I'm using the USB for the HiveOS. So you'd come in here and you would go to flight sheets. Actually, you would go to wallets first. You could do this through flight sheets because it's inside of, Beam is already integrated inside of HiveOS. But a good place to start is wallet. So we'll go add wallet, type in Beam, the wallet address. Remember our documentation, and this is my desktop wallet address. Right click, paste this plain text, check it out, make sure there's no spaces or anything in there crazy. Wallet name, we'll call it Beam_YouTube, and then create. So now we have our wallet created with an address. And we go to flight sheets. Ticker will be Beam. Wallet, we'll choose YouTube. And then for the pool, we'll choose Leaf Pool because that's what pool we chose early on, right? Whenever we were pulling up our documentation, or whenever we were looking at what pool we were going to use. Even though it was the pool with the most hash rate, I like the interface, so you know, that's why I chose it. So then we'll go US 4444 and then apply. And because this pool was already in HiveOS, then a lot of the settings are going to be super easy because it's going to pre-fill stuff for you, which I like that feature of HiveOS. For the miner, you're going to click the down arrow or just click anywhere on select miner. And for NVIDIA, I would recommend Gminer. So we're going to choose that. And then if you click Setup Miner Config, pretty much everything is going to be in there for you already. So it's got it set up the way it needs to be in order for it to work. Now, I would double check this to make sure. Sometimes you'll run into a problem with a specific pool, how it's feeding the information. So you do want to keep that in mind. Like, hey, I let HiveOS tell me what these settings are, so I need to make sure that they're right. And they're using all their variables and stuff for various things, throughout the interface here. So we'll choose apply changes, and you can see right here that they don't put the personalization string in there. Which is what I was saying earlier. I guess for Beam, Gminer, if you're using Gminer with Beam, you don't have to put the personalization string in there. So then we'll go apply changes. We'll give it a name of Beam_YouTube, and then create the flight sheet. Then we will go back to workers. And we want to assign that flight sheet to this rig, even though it's already mining Beam. But we'll put a check mark there. Click on the rocket, which is your flight sheets. And then click on, make sure I'm not covering this up. Click on Beam. And then you can choose the flight sheet that we just created, which is Beam YouTube, and they have the pool on here and everything, and what miner you're using. So you click that, and then apply. And now if you look at the screen down there, you can see that it is going to reload the miner down there below me. And it actually already did. So let me see here. Here we go. So it already has accepted shares. So if we get into the rig here, just click on the rig and then click on remote access. And then Hive shell start. I'm just going to show you a better picture of what is showing over there. Actually, I could probably just go over here and bring up that camera like that. You can kind of see share accepted down there. But I'll do it through Hive shell just to make it a little bit clearer. So we got accepted shares, everything looks good. And you can see the souls per second per GPU are significantly more than the AMD GPUs. Basically twice as much. Almost twice as much. And if you go back to the rig here, the main farm screen, you can see the souls per second, about 150. So if we take that information over to the, what were we getting? We were getting 90 with the 8 GPU rig, right? So if we go to what to mine and look and plug in our numbers here, so it's going to be 90. We'll just compare these two, and it was about 850 watts, I believe, at the wall. And I get about 10 cents per kilowatt hour. About, it's probably a little bit more than that. It's probably more like 11. But we'll just leave it as 10, kind of an average. And then we'll click calculate. And it's looking like that rig after power is going to pull in about 222. Now I have to say this because I don't know who else in here watching, but I don't really pay too much attention to these numbers because I don't have an overhead that I have to pay. I don't have a staff or anything like that. I just have a few rigs here at the house that I mine things that I'm interested in, that I want to support with my hash power, and I pay the electric bill out of pocket, so that is basically my investment into whatever the project is, right? That's kind of the way I look at it. So whatever I mine, I hold, and there you go. So I'm one of those guys that I hate that we even compare our crypto to fiat value. It kind of drives me crazy. So I hate that. But anyway, yeah, sorry, I'm just kind of rambling there. But yeah, so it looks like each of those RX 580 rigs, 8 GPU rigs, would get about $2 a day to $2.22 a day after power cost. Sounds about right. Let's look at the NVIDIA rig was getting 150 basically. It will pop up over time. It'll go up over 150, and it might actually end up being like 153 or 154 on this rig. So we'll just do 150. So we'll calculate this out here. So we'll go 150, and then I'll look at the real-time power usage on that one. I'll show that to you as well. So this is the Kessel rig, right? So it's this rig right here. So we're going to click on that, and then we're going to click on that right there, and we're going to see 880, or yeah, 887, 880. So we'll say roughly 880. We'll call it 885. How's that sound? All right, so we'll throw, and it actually had it pretty close in here already, 850. Or did I do that for? Yeah, I did that for the other one. So we'll go 885, and then let me get that camera off of there. So we went 885 right here, and then calculate. So this rig, NVIDIA rig, after power, I mean, we haven't seen these types of numbers in quite some time, guys. So that in quite some time. These are pretty good numbers. $5 a day after, and this is a 6 GPU rig compared to those other AMD 8 GPU rigs, RX 580s versus these are all 10 series GPUs. So $5 a day, not bad. Now a lot of that has to do with the fact that, you know, I mean, it's booming right now. Up 37%. Let's see, do a quick refresh here. Still at $1.25. So, yeah, pretty crazy chart. Now, I would assume that, I don't know exactly what the catalyst is for this, but they are privacy coins, and our privacy is under attack, right? The whole global coin thing going on, and that's tomorrow actually. That they're supposed to talk about their white paper tomorrow, or release the white paper, and I think there's a test net released tomorrow as well, or announced. And then if you don't know what I'm talking about the global coin from Facebook, the Libra project, and all that stuff. So that might be the reason that these new privacy coins are pumping a little bit. I don't know. Don't know for sure. Speculation, pure speculation. But man, we have been going for an hour and a half. That's crazy. Check the market real quick. Hanging around 9,300 still. Come on, CCX, join the party with this whole privacy coin thing. All right, guys, I am going to end it right there. I think that this has been a pretty good stream, actually. It's actually been pretty cool. Pretty smooth, I guess you could say. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I'm looking to do a possible GPU giveaway if I can get to 1,000 subs in 2 weeks. So that started yesterday. So by, I don't know what the date is, but 2 Sundays from yesterday. That's what we're looking at. And so make sure you follow me over there, or sub on the channel, and also follow me on Twitter